Vision is the difference between motion and progress. A lot of people are moving, grinding, sweating, and sacrificing, but they're not actually going anywhere because they never stopped to define where they want to go. Vision gives direction to effort. Without it, energy gets wasted, time gets misused, and potential stays locked. You can be busy every single day and still be lost. Vision is what turns hard work into meaningful work. When you can clearly see where you're headed, every step, no matter how small, starts to make sense. When vision is clear, decisions become easier. You stop reacting to life and start responding with intention. You don't say yes to everything just because it sounds good or feels urgent. You learn to say no, not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. Vision becomes a filter. It helps you choose what deserves your time and what doesn't. Instead of chasing everything, you commit to the few things that actually move you closer to where you want to be. That clarity alone separates people who advance from people who stay stuck. Vision also gives meaning to discipline. Waking up early, staying consistent, and doing the work when nobody's watching becomes easier when you know why you're doing it. Without vision, discipline feels like punishment. With vision, discipline feels like preparation. You understand that every sacrifice is connected to something greater than the moment. The grind stops feeling random because every effort has a destination attached to it. When pressure shows up, and it always does, vision keeps you grounded. Life will test you. Doubt will creep in. Setbacks will happen. But when you can see beyond the current struggle, you don't panic. You adjust. Vision keeps you from quitting too early because it reminds you that the obstacle is not the end. It's part of the route. People without vision see obstacles as stop signs. People with vision see them as checkpoint. Vision also protects you from comparison. When you know your direction, you don't get distracted by someone else's pace. You don't rush because someone else is ahead. And you don't relax because someone else is behind. You stay locked in on your path. Comparison loses its power when purpose is clear. You understand that your journey is custom built and your timing matters. Even your confidence grows when vision is strong. Not because you have all the answers, but because you trust the direction. You move with intent. You speak with conviction. You stand firm even when the crowd doesn't understand you. Vision gives you an inner compass. It guides you when motivation fades, when applause is absent, and when results take longer than expected. It keeps you steady when everything around you feels uncertain. Clarity is what transforms discipline from a struggle into a standard. Most people don't lack discipline because they are weak. They lack discipline because they are confused. When you're unclear about what you want, every decision becomes exhausting. You wake up unsure, move through the day distracted, and end the night frustrated, wondering why you didn't do what you said you would. Discipline doesn't disappear in those moments. It never had a foundation. Clarity is that foundation. When the target is clear, the mind stops negotiating and starts executing. When you know exactly what you're working toward, your daily actions begin to align naturally. You don't have to force yourself to show up. You feel a responsibility to show up. Clarity removes hesitation. It sharpens focus and silences internal arguments. There's no debate about whether to do the work, because the work is no longer optional, it's necessary. Every task has a purpose, and purpose creates urgency without panic. Clarity also reduces excuses. Excuses thrive in uncertainty. When the goal is vague, it's easy to justify delay, comfort, and shortcuts. But when the goal is specific, excuses lose their power. You can no longer lie to yourself because the gap between where you are and where you want to be is obvious. That awareness creates accountability. You start holding yourself to a higher standard, not because someone is watching, but because you know what's at stake. Discipline becomes sustainable when clarity is present. Motivation comes and goes, but clarity stays. On the days when you don't feel like it, clarity reminds you why you started. It keeps you anchored when emotions fluctuate. You don't rely on inspiration, you rely on intention. That's the difference between people who start strong and people who finish strong. One is driven by feeling, the other by focus. Clarity also strengthens self-control. When you know your direction, distractions become easier to resist. You don't need willpower for everything because your priorities are already set. You're not tempted by things that don't align. You understand that every yes to the wrong thing is a no to the right one. That awareness sharpens discipline. At the smallest level, how you spend your time, how you manage your energy, and how you respond to pressure. The strongest discipline is not loud or dramatic. It's quiet and consistent. It shows up in routine, preparation, and follow through. Clarity fuels that kind of discipline because it removes chaos from the mind. When your thoughts are organized, your actions follow. You move with intention instead of impulse. You stop waiting to feel ready and start acting because you already know where you're headed. Over time, clarity-driven discipline reshapes identity. You stop seeing discipline as something you try to do and start seeing it as who you are. You become reliable, focused, and resilient, not because life gets easier, but because your direction gets clearer, and clarity has a way of pulling discipline out of you whether you feel like it or not. Pain is something everyone experiences, but not everyone understands. The difference between people who grow through pain and people who break under is purpose. Pain by itself feels heavy, unfair, and endless. It drains energy and clouds judgment. When pain has no meaning attached to it, it turns into bitterness, anger, and self-doubt. But when pain is connected to a purpose, it changes shape. It stops being something that only hurts and becomes something that teaches, sharpens, and strengthens. When you know why you're enduring something, you can survive almost anything. Purpose gives pain direction. It tells you this struggle is not random, this hardship is not wasted, and this season is not permanent. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what is this preparing me for? That shift in perspective doesn't remove the pain, but it gives you the strength to carry it without losing yourself. Pain exposes truth. It reveals who you are when comfort is gone and support is limited. Without purpose, that truth can be overwhelming. You start questioning your worth and your path. But with purpose, pain becomes a mirror instead of a weapon. It shows you areas that need growth, discipline, or courage. It forces you to confront weakness, not to shame you, but to refine you. Purpose keeps pain from defining you and allows it to develop you. Growth demands resistance, and pain is often that resistance. Just like muscle is built by tension, character is built through challenge. When pain is tied to a larger vision, you stop trying to escape it at all costs. You endure it with intention. You learn patience, resilience, and emotional control. You stop reacting and start responding. Pain no longer dictates your behavior. Your purpose does. Purpose also prevents pain from turning into an excuse. Many people use past hurt as a reason to stay stuck, guarded, or disconnected. When pain lacks purpose, it becomes an identity. But when pain is given meaning, it becomes a chapter, not the whole story. You stop living from wounds and start moving toward growth. You understand that what hurt you does not get to hold you hostage. There will be moments when the weight feels unbearable. Moments when progress is slow and the cost feels high. Purpose doesn't make those moments easy, but it makes them survivable. It gives you something to hold on to when emotions run wild and outcomes are uncertain. It reminds you that quitting would only give the pain a permanent voice in your life. Over time, purpose reshapes your relationship with pain. You stop fearing it as much because you've seen what it can produce. You learn that pain, when properly processed, builds depth, empathy, and strength. It humbles you without destroying you and stretches you without breaking you. Instead of running from pain, you learn to walk through it with intention, knowing it is shaping you for something. Beyond the moment, distractions don't become powerful on their own. They gain power when direction is weak, when you don't have a clear sense of where you're going. Everything around you starts to look important. Every notification feels urgent. Every opportunity feels necessary. And every opinion feels relevant. A distracted mind is often not a lazy mind, but a confused one. Without direction, focus has nowhere to land, so it keeps bouncing from one thing to another, mistaking movement for progress. Direction creates boundaries. When you know what you're aiming for, distractions become easier to identify because they don't align with your path. But when direction is missing, boundaries disappear. You say yes too often. You chase things that feel good in the moment but leave you empty later. Distractions thrive in that space because they offer short-term relief from the discomfort of uncertainty. They keep you busy enough to avoid asking hard questions about purpose and direction. Many people confuse distraction with opportunity. They start multiple things but finish nothing. They jump from idea to idea, habit to habit, hoping something will finally click. But without direction, even good opportunities become distractions. Just because something is productive doesn't mean it's purposeful. Direction gives you the discipline to stay committed when something newer or easier tries to pull your attention away. Distractions also reveal impatience. When progress feels slow, the mind starts searching for alternatives. Instead of trusting the process, you look for shortcuts. Instead of staying consistent, you look for excitement. That's not always a lack of effort. It's often a lack of belief in the direction you've chosen. When you truly trust where you're going, you don't abandon the path every time it gets uncomfortable. Direction sharpens focus under pressure. Life will always present noise, chaos, and competing demands. Without direction, pressure amplifies distraction. You react instead of respond. You let circumstances dictate your attention. But when direction is clear, pressure becomes a test, not a trap. You can prioritize, adjust, and stay centered because you know what matters most. Distractions also expose emotional avoidance. When direction is unclear, distractions become a hiding place. They keep you from sitting with discomfort, fear, or uncertainty. Constant stimulation replaces reflection. Noise replaces clarity. Direction requires stillness, honesty, and commitment, and many people avoid those by staying distracted. They stay busy so they don't have to face the truth about where they're headed. As direction strengthens, distractions lose their grip. Not because life gets quieter, but because your focus gets stronger. You stop needing constant stimulation because your purpose holds your attention. You become selective with your time, energy, and attention. Distractions don't disappear, but they stop controlling you. They reveal themselves for what they are. Detours that only have power when you don't know where you're going. Destiny is rarely the result of one dramatic moment. It is built quietly through daily decisions that often feel insignificant at the time. What you choose to do when you wake up, how you respond to pressure, what you allow into your mind, and where you place your energy all compound over time. People tend to focus on big breakthroughs, but those moments are usually the outcome of thousands of small choices made consistently. The direction of your life is shaped not by what you intend to do someday, but by what you choose to do today. Every decision is a vote for the person you are becoming. The small habits you repeat reinforce an identity, whether you are aware of it or not. Choosing discipline over comfort, patience over impulse, and consistency over convenience might not feel rewarding in the moment, but those choices quietly build momentum. On the other hand, repeated small compromises slowly weaken direction. You may not notice the impact immediately, but over time those decisions add up, shaping outcomes that feel sudden but were actually predictable. Daily decisions reveal priorities. What you spend time on reflects what you value, regardless of what you say you want. It's easy to talk about goals, but behavior tells the real story. When you consistently choose distractions over focus or excuses over effort, those choices carve a path. Destiny doesn't respond to words. It responds to patterns. The patterns you repeat become the life you live. Pressure often exposes the true nature of your decisions. When things get difficult, you fall back on habits, not intentions. That's why daily decisions matter most, when no one is watching. The choices made in private shape how you perform in public. Disciplined practice daily strengthens your ability to act with purpose when it matters most. Consistency gives power to small decisions. One healthy choice won't change everything, and one mistake won't ruin everything, but repetition determines direction. Over time, consistency builds trust in yourself. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who honors commitment, someone who moves with intention. That identity influences future decisions, creating a cycle that either accelerates growth or deepens stagnation. Daily decisions also determine how you respond to setbacks. You can choose reflection instead of reaction, learning instead of blaming, persistence instead of quitting. Those choices don't erase difficulty, but they determine whether difficulty strengthens you or stalls you. Destiny is shaped by how you interpret and respond to what happens, not just by what happens. The power of daily decisions lies in their quiet nature. They don't demand attention or applause, but they demand responsibility. Each day offers choices that seem small but carry weight. Over time, those choices create direction, momentum, and outcome. Destiny is not something you wait for or stumble into. It is something you build decision by decision, moment by moment. Through the actions you choose to repeat every single day, motivation is powerful, but it is temporary. It comes in waves, often sparked by emotion, excitement, or a sudden realization. Can get you started, push you through the early stages, and make you feel unstoppable for a moment. But motivation is unreliable. It fades when things get hard, when results are slow, and when the excitement wears off. Commitment is different. Commitment doesn't depend on how you feel. It depends on what you've decided. That decision is what keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Commitment is rooted in responsibility. It's a promise you make to yourself long before the outcome is visible. When motivation is high, effort feels easy. When motivation is gone, commitment carries the weight. It shows up in routine, consistency, and follow through. Commitment doesn't ask whether today feels good or whether the mood is right. It asks whether the work needs to be done. That mindset is what separates people who finish from people who quit halfway. When challenges arise, motivation often looks for escape. Commitment looks for solutions. Motivation reacts to emotions. Commitment stands firm despite them. On the days when doubt is loud and energy is low, commitment becomes a stabilizing force. It keeps you anchored to your path, even when everything inside you wants to stop. It reminds you that the decision to continue was made before the discomfort arrived. Commitment also builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through despite resistance, you strengthen self-belief. You begin to see yourself as dependable and resilient. That confidence isn't built through hype or excitement. It's built through kept promises. Over time, commitment reshapes identity. You no longer rely on feeling inspired to act. You act because it's who you are. Motivation often focuses on outcomes, while commitment focuses on process. When results are slow or unclear, motivation weakens. Commitment stays because it's attached to effort, not reward. It understands that progress is rarely visible in the early stages. That patience allows growth to happen without constant validation. Commitment accepts that success is delayed, and that consistency is the price of admission. There will be days when motivation returns, and those days feel good. But commitment is what ensures you don't lose ground when motivation leaves again. It provides structure during chaos and direction during uncertainty. It keeps you moving forward in silence, without applause, without recognition, and without guarantees. Commitment is not loud or dramatic. It doesn't announce itself or seek attention. It operates in the background, quietly shaping outcomes over time. While motivation may start the journey, commitment is what carries you through every obstacle, every setback, and every moment of doubt, turning intention into action and effort into progress long after motivation has faded.